MacVoices is supported by Eero, the wireless mesh network solution that you need. Visit Eero.com to get yours and use the code MacVoices to receive free overnight shipping to the US and Canada. And by Smile, the makers of world-class software like PDFpen for Mac, PDFpenPro for Mac, PDFpen for iPhone and iPad, PDFpen Scan Plus for iPhone and iPad, TextExpander for Mac, and TextExpander for iPhone and iPad. Learn more about all their great products at smilesoftware.com. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're back again with gift guide number 5. I don't know how many more of these we're going to get in before the holiday, but we're going to try. For those of you that are shopping late or last minute, it's always fun. And even if we run a little bit over, so what? You know, it just means that it gives you more ideas of what you can spend that holiday cash on once we're on the other side of the holiday. As I said in the last show, just be careful because these shows can be very dangerous to your credit card, because they are to mine. Because I've already purchased a few things that have been recommended, and I have others on my list. If this is your first gift guide show, the rules are pretty simple. Pretty much anything is game. We obviously have a bit of a tech bent. But if the only thing that the panelists cannot do is they cannot pick something that a previous panel has picked. Sometimes during the show, a panelist will steal another panelist's pick, and that's okay because that's part of the game, is trying to get your picks in first. So we'll see how it goes. This time we have a very distinguished panel. First up, Mr. David Ginsburg. David, welcome. It's good to see you.
Great to see you, Chuck. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
inside some of these gifts.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what you come up with. And also, from the Northlands, Mr. Wally Cherwinski is back with us. Wally, good to see you too.
Hi, Chuck. Likewise, always a pleasure, and it's always great to tempt you with stuff.
Yeah, you're particularly good at it too, Wally.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I have a willing subject. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see how we do it.
Yeah. You all heard the rules, so you kind of know how this works, and you've both been here before, so we'll just get to it. We'll try to do 3 or 4 rounds of picks as to what you think is cool. So I'm going to keep it the same order as the introductions just to keep it easy for me. So David, that gives you the first pick of gift guide number 5.
All right. Well, my pick was a unique device item. It was a Kickstarter. I actually have not done Kickstarter before, and this was my first time ever buying into a Kickstarter, and it came true. And what it is, it's a product called Dock Case, and it's made with it's a leather sleeve. So I show this here. This is a little leather sleeve here, and I think it's simple case. You put your MacBook Pro in here. I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. It's a case, but no, it has 9 ports on the side of the case. So this includes a HDMI. It's got USB-C and a power pass-through. It's got 2 USB ports. It's got SD card and a micro SD card, and it's all here in the case. So all you have to do is there's a cable that comes with it. You plug into the back here, plugs into the MacBook Pro, and voila, you have all of your ports for your latest MacBook Pro, the 2016 or the 2017 model, which of course don't have all these ports. Protects the case really well. It fits in really nicely, and it has a storage for the cable that's required to plug the ports in. And it's super fast. I was very impressed with it. Does have a power pass-through, so you can plug your power right into this one of the ports, so you can have your plug going as well as your case. And for somebody who travels a lot and wants to have all these ports with them at all times, instead of having to carry around a splitter or any other type of hookup device to get all these in one place, it's pretty awesome case. I'm very impressed with it. It fits the laptop perfectly. It just kind of, like I said, it doubles as a case as well as ports for all your devices.
Wow.
Yeah. I was very impressed with it.
Yeah. David, so you take the MacBook out to use it, but the MacBook remains plugged in to get the ports back.
Yeah. So what it does is, if you see the case here, it would actually lay on top of this case. And then the back here has a port that you take the cable, you just plug it in, and this plugs into the MacBook. And then this now is live, and it's got a chipset inside this set of ports. And I tell you, the ports are extremely fast. I was very impressed. I mean, I plugged in, high power external drives into the USB ports, recognized it right away. It's got the SD and a micro SD card slot, which is very unusual to find as it is anyway. All right here, you just plug it right into the slot, and it's ready to go. HDMI as well as it has an Ethernet port. So if you need to plug into the wired network, that's there as well. So everything is here in the case, and like I said, when you travel with it, it just sits below the MacBook Pro, and you're ready to plug in whatever you need.
And that is a USB-C connection, is that correct?
Yes, this is the connector. So it's a USB-C connector, and it has a specific port just to get the connection to this set of ports. So they've actually designed it so this only plug this cable in and plugs into one of your USB-C ports on the MacBook Pro.
Very cool. Very cool. I have not heard about this at all.
Yeah, I didn't either. And like I said, I just kind of stumbled upon it. And like I said, I'm not a big Kickstarter supporter of that much. I've always followed it, but I've never thought I would invest into it. But it was pretty cool. And it comes in the 13-inch MacBook Pro. It'll also be the 15-inch MacBook Pro, as well as there's one for the 12-inch MacBook. Since those all have the USB-C ports, they have cases for all of them. And of course, they come in different colors, black, and I think there's a coffee and a red, and it's all on the website. I think the price starts around $119, and I think goes up to $149 for the full-size MacBook Pro 15-inch. But I think about buying a sleeve as well as getting a hub or a splitter or any of these types of things separately. You'll probably spend that much anyway. And this way, it sits right under the MacBook Pro. It's out of your way, and you have it with you at all times because you're carrying it like a case.
Wow, very nice.
That replaces a lot of dongles, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, I have all the dongles too, of course, but I thought it was a very impressive product.
Yeah, wow. Right out of the gate, you're spending my money. Thank you, David. All right, Wally, can you top that? Because I'm not sure any of my picks can top that.
I'm not sure if I can top that, but I was kind of hoping that I could show off my brand new iMac Pro today. But it didn't quite work out that way. Although we did hear today that it's going to be available for purchase on Thursday, at least in the US. In Canada, the date says still coming in December on Apple's website. So hopefully that'll change in a day or so, and we'll know when we can buy one. So I can't really recommend the iMac Pro, although I would love to. And I'm sure by next year, we're all going to be recommending and singing its praises. But we'll see. But I'm going to do the next best thing. If I can't give you the very latest iMac Pro, at least I can give you an iMac. And that looks like this. Now, this is a watch stand, and it comes in the shape of this beautiful Bondi blue iMac from the 1990s. Very nice. So all you do is you take your watch as a nightstand, just slide it into that little slot, and of course you've put your connector already in here. You slide this in, and if you can see that, you can see the time right through your display. So it looks like your watch is actually the monitor of this nice old iMac. Now, if an iMac is too new for you, you can go all the way back to 1984, and they also have a model that is the original 128K Mac, which I still have in the basement, and believe it or not, it still turns on. It was 400K drive, and I had I went crazy. I got a 400K external floppy drive with it. Okay, so I had lots and lots. Anyway, so you can get an iMac or you can get a 128K. The iMac comes in this nice Bondi blue, or it's a pink color, which I think they called raspberry at the time, or strawberry or something like that. Your choice. The iMac model, it's about $15, so more than affordable. The 128K Mac, a little cheaper, it's about $10. So you can get this a lot of places, but Amazon has it. So if you check it out, $10 or $15, really good investment. I love waking up in the morning and having a step back through time. A lot of fun.
A nostalgia pick, Wally. I didn't see that coming from you. That's interesting.
That's a stocking stuffer. We're
yeah.
starting off slow, Chuck.
Oh, good. That's remember now, David spent some of my money already, so don't get excited. I've agonized a little bit over my picks this time. I have some picks from some viewers, but the first pick I'm going to make is mine. I sometimes will pick an app. I sometimes will pick a couple apps to suggest. This time, I would like for you to consider purchasing over 70 apps at once. And you do that by subscribing to SetApp. SetApp is a subscription service. It's almost like a cross between the Mac App Store and a subscription service, where you buy the service for so much money per month. I think it's about $10 a month. Then you have access to over 70 terrific apps. And the thing I like about this is these aren't just some no-name apps or names you're not familiar with. I hesitate to even name some of the apps. I'll put a screenshot up simply because I don't want anyone to be missed. And there's some great quality apps here. They're names they're names you may or may not have already bought for yourself, but you definitely probably have been looking at them. And you can use any of them. It's a pretty simple thing. Basically, what amounts to an alias is loaded into your Mac. If you want to launch that app, you double-click it. It downloads the SetApp version of it into a special SetApp folder, and that's it. Then the app is on your machine to use as you see fit, and it will continue to function right up through whenever you decide not to subscribe anymore. And I'm not sure why you would do that, because this is such a great way. I mean, for $10 a month, you're getting access to a lot of top-tier apps, again, that you would normally think about purchasing, but you also get to play with a number of apps that maybe you've been looking at sideways, or you just want to explore and think, hey, I'd like to see what this task management software can do, or that graphics software, or whatever it happens to be. And you are using the full version. And if you decide you don't like it, fine, just take it off the machine, and you could decide to re-adopt it or reuse it 3 or 4 months later. Just download it again. But this is a fantastic way. There's been so much discussion about having developers compensated properly, subscription services. We all kind of sometimes choke a little bit on subscription services. This one is very affordable. We did do an interview with the president of the company a while back. I'll put that in the show notes, because that was one of the kind of the big concerns here. Is we want to make sure that the developer's being rewarded, and he explains the whole process about how the subscription money that you pay obviously has to go to them to some degree, but it also goes back to the developers of the apps that you are using. So it's a pretty darn good model. The developers I've talked to that participate in it are very, very happy about it. I'm very happy because I'm getting a great deal, and it also, when I do get that little bit of free time, I don't have to go and say, okay, what was that app I wanted to go play with? I just dig into SetApp and say, oh yeah, there it is, or there's one that I would like to know more about, and I get to. So it's a great thing for you, or maybe to give as a gift, because it's the gift that keeps on giving, because the apps are there for whoever you give it to use, to play with, to try. You can't beat it. SetApp.com.
So, Chuck, is it? Can you subscribe month by month, or is it an annual subscription, or do you have a choice?
I don't think you have a choice, Wally. It's a great question. I think you can just do it month by month. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's a discount for like multiple months. And honestly, I kind of like that idea, because if you want to take a look at this, you're not locking in for a year, and you also don't feel like you're missing out on a discount. And if there is one, then even better. But the model, I don't think, at least when I signed up for it, I don't think was predicated on the idea that you sign up for a long time. So, yeah, dig into it for $10 or $20 worth, and if you like it, fantastic, keep on going. And if you don't, well, then go try something else.
And you made a great point, Chuck, because I know you're curious about apps. I know David is. I know I sure am. And it's always great to try different things out, but you don't always want to buy it. And sometimes there is no free trial, and you're kind of stuck, but you'd love to try it out. And this is a great way of getting your hands on something and taking it for a test drive and seeing if it works for you.
Yeah, exactly. And we all are familiar with the bundles, especially that seem to come out at this time of year. And the problem for me with the bundles is twofold. First of all, there are always those 2 or 3 apps that are the big name apps that kind of are the ones that pull you in. Half of those I already own, either through other bundles or just through straight purchases. And then the other apps, and with all due respect to those, and that's why I'm not naming names, they have no reputation. They have no anything. And I'm a little bit hesitant to invest, A, money, but even more so, B, time in checking those out. So this is a way where and SetApp has done a great job, I think, of going through and picking out, not picking out, that's not fair, but signing up a lot of the name apps as opposed to just saying, oh yeah, we're going to, get this text editor, the 1000th text editor that's probably loaded on my machine. They go and get the good stuff, and that's what you want. So it's a great way to test some stuff out.
Sounds good.
MacVoices is sponsored by Eero, the wireless mesh networking system you really need. What do you want out of your wireless network? First, and most obviously, it's wireless. But wireless doesn't do you much good if it's only in one room, so you want great wireless coverage throughout your home or small business. Second, you want it to be fast, to match your hardwired connection. Third, you want it simple to set up, because who wants to spend an afternoon or evening digging through a router control panel, trying to figure out what all those settings mean? Fourth, unfortunately, in today's world, you need to keep your router updated and secure more than ever. That one gets overlooked too often because, again, who wants to spend more time managing your router than using it? Eero's wireless mesh networks checks off all these boxes. Because it's mesh, your space is blanketed in strong, fast, secure Wi-Fi, so that connecting in the den is the same as connecting in the basement, and in the attic, even in the garage and the yard. Now, with the addition of a third 5 GHz radio, the second generation Eero is tri-band, and twice as fast as before. And a new thread radio makes it easy to connect your low-power devices, such as locks, doorbells, and other Internet of Things devices. Eero's setup is about as simple as it gets. If you can use an iPhone app, you can configure your Eero. Easy-to-understand screens will have you up and running in no time. And maybe best of all, Eero pushes the updates you need to your device, so there's no need for you to spend time managing your network. Unless you want to, of course. But who wants to? This is enterprise-grade Wi-Fi for your home without the hassles. I know. I'm running an Eero system in my home, and it's the best wireless experience I've ever had. I'd like you to have that experience as well, and you can. Visit Eero.com right now and use the code MacVoices at checkout to get free overnight shipping on your new Eero system to the US and Canada. Because again, who wants to wait? That's Eero.com, EERO.com, and the promo code MacVoices at checkout to get free overnight shipping to the US and Canada. It's just that easy. Thanks to Eero for their support of MacVoices. All right, so that was a quick round one and some very diverse picks. David, take us into round two.
All right. Well, I decided to look at something inexpensive, and we're all involved, or I should say we're involved, or probably we're all in the ecosystem with the Amazon Echo, and Amazon is obviously the dominant player in the talking into a device and telling you what you want. Well, I thought I'd check out Google, because Google has their home device, and I didn't necessarily want to invest all this money on Google Home when I already have an Amazon Echo. So, they have the Echo. This is the Google Home Mini, and this one's not too terribly big. It's a nice little small. It's actually a little nicer than the Amazon Dot. The price point is ideal too. It's only $29. It plugs in and you just go. It's very similar to the way the Echo sets up, and you download your app on your iPhone or any mobile device, set it up, and it does basically the same thing what an Amazon does. It does link also with Chromecast, so those of you who have a Chromecast device, that might also help you being able to access that stuff. Some of the cons I found with this device is that it's a little more limited to what what the Echo can do. But for $29, a good start entry level point for this type of device. I think it's a pretty nice product, and gets you into having a lot of fun, asking it things.
David, you know what I'm going to ask, because every time one of these smart speaker things comes up, you have to talk about privacy. We've talked about the Amazon devices. We've talked about Siri. I'm a little surprised. Are you comfortable with Google having an open mic in your home?
Well, if you notice, it's not plugged in right now. So. I agree with you. Yeah, I'm concerned about it with Amazon too. It was just yesterday, and when I saw my wife ask it to do something, and I look at it, and of course it records your voice, so you can play it back to make sure make sure that it sounds okay. Yeah, okay. You want to actually hear what our voice is doing. So I agree with you. It does have some concerns with privacy. I know there's ways of turning a lot of this stuff off, but no, I agree with you. Both ecosystems, you got to think about it. If privacy really is a concern for you, you might want to think twice before you use these types of these devices.
Yeah, and I don't mean to rain on the parade of any of these devices. It's just it's one of those things that it has to be factored into the equation when you're making your purchase decision, if you're going to make a purchase decision. So right. But yeah, have been anxious because I have not talked to anybody that had firsthand experience with one of the Google devices.
Well, I just got it a couple days ago, and probably last week, and I was surprised it actually was in stock because that's a really good price. People, I think the first round of it was sold out. So, and I didn't play too much, but I'm gonna investigate a little further and see what this device really does as far as privacy goes. I'd like to dig in a little deeper. I agree with you. I'd be a little more concerned with Google than I am Amazon, but who knows? Both of them, you question both of them. They're powerhouses. How do you not worry about privacy? Really, the both.
Yeah, well, and under the heading of full disclosure, I've got an Amazon device. I was about to say her name. Sitting right in the living room. Can't say that I'm careful around it, but I sort of have thought about where I've placed it in my home, just to make sure that if there are things happening that you would rather not have recorded or spied on, that it's not in a position to do that, or at least it's going to be a whole lot harder for it to.
So, yep. Yeah. So, but like I said, a lot of people love them. So yeah. $29 can't go wrong for a nice little stocking stuffer, and someone might want a good entry level device to see if they like it.
Oh yeah, for $29, I'm almost tempted to try just to play with it, even if I put it in the basement where it can't hear anything. So
it is reduced because I think normally it's $49. So for the holiday season, they took $20 off. So
okay, you're encouraging me. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Wally, where are we going? You started with stocking stuffers. What's next?
Okay, well, we're going to move up a little bit now. So my next pick is an Apple photo book.
Ooh.
Okay, and I'll flip through the pages in just a minute. But it used to be, back in the day, our family tradition has been on New Year's Day, we would get together in the living room. We would get out all of the shoe boxes of photos that we took throughout the year, photos of the kids and the pets and the relatives and, day at the beach and all that kind of stuff, birthday parties. And we sort them all out and we pick out the best photos of the year. And of course, then we'd have one of these nice photo albums with the sticky pages, and we'd carefully put the photos in there, maybe write a little caption or so, and we put together a little photo book. Well, that was a lot of fun, and we still have the books, and they're really treasured memories. But these days, you can do it so much better because we take so many photos with our cameras, with our iPhones, with our iPads even, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger in our photos library. Well, a few years ago, I decided we would try to replace the physical photo album with a printed photo album. So if you go into your Photos app, or there used to be one in Aperture, there is a setting in there where you can order a book. And what it does is it gives you a template, and you take the best of your photos and you pop them into little squares in the template, and you write the cut lines, and you decide how many pages you want, and then you press a button. It's all uploaded to Apple. They print the book and mail it back to you. Now, there are other photo services that do that sort of thing. In my experience, the quality of the Apple books is absolutely first rate. The photos in there are absolutely stunning the way they're printed. Now, you know, when you take a photo, you kind of hope that when it's printed, it'll look okay. And you can take them to your local photo shop and they'll print them, but they don't always quite work out the way you hoped. Believe me, in these Apple books, they are fantastic. Print quality is second to none. So these things come in various sizes and shapes. There's a square format. There's a landscape format. You can have a soft cover, a hard cover, different page sizes, extra large pages, and smaller pages. So your choice, basically. And there are several different templates. And there are more than several, lots of templates. And you flip through those and you see what style suits you best and the kind of photos you have. So if it's a wedding, for example, you wanted to do a souvenir album, you might pick one style. If it's a family holiday, you could pick another style. But anyway, lots to choose from. And then depending on how big a book you print, it can be anywhere from $13.99, that's the basic price, and that gets you a 20-page square format, smallish pages book. Or you can go up to, I think it's $79.99 for extra large pages, hardcover book. That's 20 pages though. So if you want to add more pages, you'll maybe pay $1 or $2 per page to add them. But if you had a lot of stuff happen during the year and you took a lot of photos, you can print up to 100 pages in the book. And 100 pages is more than enough to have the highlights from your year. So let me show you very quickly what this thing looks like. So this one is the hardcover, and it comes with a leaf. So let me take the leaf out so I don't make a mess. So here it is. The style that I chose has the colored borders, but you can put your own borders in, and I give you an idea of the kind of layout in there. And the nice thing is, if you took, let's say you took a pano, I'll see if I can find a pano in here. There's a pano. Should have had a bookmarked. But if you have a really nice pano, those things, you can do a 2-page spread of a pano. So it starts here and goes all the way across, and it's absolutely stunning. So, 100 pages. I challenge you, Chuck, if you've got good photos, all your trips to Las Vegas, all the photos we took at MacStock this year, all the concerts you went to, photo book. Great idea. And the nice thing is, that's the kind of gift that it's forever, because it's called a coffee table book for a reason. It does happen to hang out in people's coffee tables. I think I've got about 10 of them now. Every year I do a new one of the highlights of the year. And all your memories are there, and they're easily visible. If you've got them on your computer, they're there, but you've got to rummage around and find them and relive them. When they're in a book and you have family or visitors over, they'll leaf through the book, and it's a great way to share some of those highlights. Anyway, what I do is throughout the year, I'll be adding new photos into the pile. And by the end of the year, I'll start laying it out, writing all the cut lines, and yeah.
Wally, I don't want folks to overlook your Christmas tradition that you described.
Yeah.
Whether it's hard copy photos or digital photos, that's a fantastic holiday tradition. I congratulate you on that. It's something our family never thought of. And I'm sorry that we didn't, because it would have been nice to call those photos out and, kind of create the best of the best. But,
right.
That's fantastic. As far as the photo book goes, I just flipped an article into into MacVoices magazine not long ago that
saw
picked the Apple photo books as
Yep.
the best photo book service for Mac users. Taking nothing away from some of the others, but they just made a point of how the quality of the Apple photo books and the quality of the photos themselves. So just to reinforce that pick, great pick. Great pick.
I read that article too. I think they mentioned Shutterfly is another good service, and I have a Shutterfly book, and it is very good. But really, the Apple books are just second to none. And you know, you made the point about preserving those memories, and it isn't just about the book, but I'm a believer in trying to get those photos that you have on your computer out of there and into other kinds of circulation. So, for example, screensaver on your computer or on your Apple TV. You can print a calendar also through Apple. You can print greeting cards. But some of the traditional ways of sharing photos, whether it's books or greeting cards or calendars, are still valid today, and I think they're very helpful in preserving some of those memories and keeping them fresh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great pick.
And I'll just kind of add that to that. We just did a session in our Apple user group a couple months ago with these books, and I saw the Apple books and I was like, oh my God, this thing is just incredible. It's incredible. And he had different styles. He went with Shutterfly, a couple of the other services, but comparing them to the others, and there's nothing beats these Apple books. They're just amazing.
Yeah, probably none of us should probably be surprised at that Apple would take the time and effort to do the quality. But yeah, nice pick.
Who knew?
Yeah. Okay, well, I have to tell you, I decided this year to spread things out a little bit and invite some of the listeners and viewers to send in some suggestions so that we didn't just get to have all the fun. So that's what I'm going to do for the next pick. I want to read this to you. Listener Steve S., or viewer Steve S., I'm not quite sure which, but either way, he recommended the Blink security cameras, and this is what he had to say. I've tried a few security cameras, Nest Cam, Stick Up Cam by Ring Doorbell, and Blink cameras. The Nest Cam wants to charge you for storage and has to be plugged in. The stick-up cam is an outdoor camera I bought that has a solar panel to keep it charged, but the problem with this camera is it doesn't start recording on motion as fast as the other two cameras. The Blink cameras I like the best for these reasons. Very small battery-operated 2 AA's that last a long time. The recording starts on motion very fast, plus you get 7,200 seconds of recording storage-free, which I'm not quite sure. I have to do the math on that one. They work with the Amazon Echo and If This Then That. I own 6 Blink cameras right now and 2 more Blink outdoor cameras on order. I love these cameras and I would put them on my gift list. Honestly, I was not familiar with Blink cameras, but in looking at them, I was kind of impressed. And with an endorsement like that, and the idea of having that 7,200 seconds free, because that's always one of the things with any of these security cameras, is they're great, but they want to charge you for it. So that gives you some storage for free right there. And that's kind of all you need. So I'll be checking these out. And thank you, Steve. Great pick. I don't know. Do either one of you have any familiarity with these cameras?
No, I didn't either. I just went to the website, though. I mean, it's a reasonable price. I mean, you start at $129.99 for a starter camera, and you could buy a full camera system. It's not that terribly expensive. And if you can get that much, 7,200 seconds of record time without having to pay for extra storage, that's pretty impressive. And these cameras look pretty small, and they could be hidden very easily. Yeah, that was the thing that impressed me, David. They're fairly unobtrusive. Not like some that really do look like a security camera. It just looks almost more like it could be mistaken, as like a fire alarm or smoke detector or something. So yeah, I'm very, very impressed. So Steve, thank you. Great pick. I'm looking forward to doing a little more research, and oh boy, I'll probably have one of those too, at least. Yeah. So that's 2 rounds, and already we've got some really great picks. So with that, let's kick into round 3. And at this point, nobody's stolen anything from anybody. That's great. But
depending on how many picks you had, you may want to start thinking about what are your 2 best picks, because we're already starting to count down. So, David, take us into round 3.
All right. Kind of thing on the item of an Apple product. I'm recommending the Beats Solo 3 wireless with on-ear headphones. That's these headphones here. These headphones are really nice, and I was very impressed with the sound. And of course, you get different colors and the quality sound. It's Bluetooth, which was great. But the biggest thing that I like with it is as similar to the AirPods, which I know someone talked about on previous shows. It has that W1 chip that's built in that gives it high quality sound, as well as it making it very easy to connect to your iDevices. It's just incredible. You just push the button and automatically recognizes it. You have it on your iPhone. Then if you grab your iPad, you want to connect to it. It'll just seamlessly switch between any of your devices, your Mac, your iPad, or your iPhone. Sound quality is really good, and I tell you, I'm just very impressed with the product, especially with that chip. It folds very nice and compact. I do have a pair of Bose, the QC35s, so those are good for travel because, especially when you're on the plane, and Chuck, you're traveling all the time. Those headphones are great because of the noise canceling. But I think these are nicer, a little lighter weight than those, which is nice. It has a nice carry case. You can charge it for right through your USB, and it also has a cord if you wanted to, if you needed to have a 3.5-inch plug. It has 40 hours of battery life. That's pretty impressive. And it does have a 5-minute charge, which they call fast fuel, which will allow you to charge it and give yourself 3 hours of playback if you had used the headphones, for a period of time. But 40 hours, that's all day play and then some. So, I mean, just having that and the quality of Beats, and there was Apple for a reason bought Beats for that reason, so the quality of the sound. Now, some skeptics, a lot of audiophiles may have some questionability of the Beats products, but I think they sound very good. There's so many different headphones choices out there, but this is not bad. The price is at $299.95, I think it is. But for the portability of them and for ease of travel, I think it was a really good choice.
David, I want to make sure those are not noise canceling. Is that correct?
That's the only thing that they're not noise canceling. That's why I say I have my Bose, the QC35s, which I've recommended before. But you know what? I mean, they fit on your ears pretty nicely. I mean, they're not bad size. They're not a bad size, and it really has kept out a lot of the sound, so I haven't had a lot of problems of it. I'm hearing outside sound. I mean, it does set on your ear pretty nicely. But again, it's not noise canceling. So yes, I definitely want that disclaimer in.
I didn't know that.
Do they retain their comfort after, say, an hour or so?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Still comfortable? Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about them, because they're the smaller size. They have the studio versions of them, which they just came out with, are more expensive, but they're very big. I mean, you see as it goes on my ears here, they're not very big. I mean, and they cover your ears enough that you're going to get good sound. So yeah, they're very comfortable.
I did not know that they had a 40-hour battery life. Like you say, that's pretty impressive.
Really impressive. And having the Class 1 Bluetooth, and which is the highest quality Bluetooth that you can get, the sound is pretty amazing. I mean, I've got it on my iPhone 10, I've done it on my iPad Pro, and my Mac. And the great thing is it's always in your list of Bluetooth devices. You don't ever have to worry about it. It syncs in iCloud. So just like what the AirPods do. And so the device is always there. And if you remove it, it removes it completely from all your devices all at once. So it's not like any ordinary Bluetooth device where you hook it up and then you remove it. It's always there, and it's backed up in iCloud, so it's always there for you.
Very, very good. I'm hearing more and more people kind of come around to the Beats thing. And I don't know if that means that Beats has changed the sound profile of the headphones, or whether people are just getting used to it, or they're being attracted by the name. But for whatever reason, there are a lot of people that are being very satisfied with the Beats headphones. And with those kind of characteristics, how could you not be? Yeah,
exactly. And just those features alone really just sells me on it. Yeah. Even has built-in microphones, so you can use it for calls. I mean, so it's hands-free.
Good. Okay. Nice. All right, Wally. Third round.
My turn. Well, I haven't talked anything about video yet, have I? So I had to get there eventually. So I want to talk about lens kits. And this is something that I really believe in, because as a videographer, obviously, having good quality video is important to me. And especially when I'm traveling, I use my iPhone more and more and more to shoot video. In fact, these days, I don't even bring one of my larger camcorders unless it's something special like a conference or something that I'm recording. Well, then I'll bring it and set it up on a tripod. But normally, I'll just shoot on my phone. So a lens kit is really important. Now, this particular lens kit, I know I've showed you this before, Chuck, and in fact, I think you bought one.
I did.
So I'm going to recommend a company called Stylus, and that's spelled ZTYLUS. They make lens kits for pretty well any model of iPhone. So if you've got an iPhone 10, they've already got a lens kit out for it. If you've got an iPhone 5S and you're still using that for whatever reason, they've got a lens kit for it. So this one in particular, I'll use this as an example. This is one for the iPhone 7 Plus. So that's another thing. Whether you have the Plus model of a 7 or an 8, they have a lens kit that will work with it, as well as for the regular size. But this one in particular, it's got a little sliding thing here where you slide lenses into position over your regular camera opening. So this one in particular this is a telephoto over here, and this is a super wide. So if you put one or other of these lenses over your existing iPhone 7 Plus camera, with the telephoto, you'll add another 2 times telephoto zoom onto it. And with the super wide over the regular lens, you'll just get a wide angle shot. If you flip it up one more level, you get a couple of macro lenses. And if you flip it up once more, there's a fisheye and a telephoto. In other words, you get several lenses in one with this case and lens kit. Now, I mentioned the iPhone 10. These guys are really fast off the mark because they had an iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and 10 lens kit within a week of the release of those phones. So the quality actually is very good. This one in particular, iPhone 7 Plus model, I think I paid around $35 for it. And when I bought this, I was skeptical. $35 really is not very much. So I would have expected the quality to be so-so. I was amazed, because the quality actually is more than adequate. I'm very happy with it. I've done serious shoots with it. It's performed really well. So bottom line, they make different models of lens kits. They make them for all kinds of phones. Best thing you can do is just go to stylus.com, flip through the various models, and if you're in the market, the prices are really attractive. And in fact, I'm sure every time you go to that site, there will be a little pop-up come up on your browser offering you a 15% discount. So take advantage of that. So that's the first thing that I have from Stylus, but there's more. So of course, when I travel, I don't want to just use my iPhone and start shooting. So this thing is called the Journalist Kit, also from Stylus. And what's interesting about this one is there are several pieces. First of all, there is a mini tripod. Well, that's not unusual, but this is a really good one because it has a ball head. So you can orient your phone and your tripod in any angle you want. You can also hold it like this as you shoot. Gives you a lot more comfort and flexibility, control. If you don't want a tripod, it's called a journalist kit, incidentally, because if you set it up on the tripod, you can actually do a good little interview. But if you're not a journalist, it's still useful. You can take the tripod off, and it has 2 other pieces. This part is weighted, and it's a grip, and it gives you this kind of handhold when you're using your phone. One-handed, very comfortable, gives you a lot of control and stability. And the added weight here gives you some smoothness to your shots because it gives you just a little bit of extra mass to give you more stable shots. So that's a good thing. I've added a wrist strap to this one. I always like a wrist strap when I shoot wrap it around my wrist in case I have an accident with my phone. But if you don't want to use this thing, well, take it off. Incidentally, it has a tripod mount, so you can put this on any bigger tripod if you want. Now you're down to this part. You see on the back, it's just a clamp that holds your phone. So again, you can shoot this way, one-handed. A lot more comfortable to shoot this way than just holding your phone. Very useful. And the last thing it does, if you look on top, I get it, there we go. It's got a cold shoe on it. So you can slip in an external mic, or you can slip in a light kit, for example. And those accessories can be very useful in the field, in a dark location, or maybe you want slightly better sound that you can get with your iPhone microphone. That cold shoe will do the trick for you. One more thing, and this is not from Stylus. I really like this. This is a remote shutter release. Oh, incidentally, the journalist kit itself, all those pieces together, about $50. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it directly from stylus.com. The shutter release. Remember when you had a single lens reflex camera and you had that nice shutter release and it looked like a syringe needle and you went ka-chunk and it saved you from that little bit of camera shake? This is a similar sort of thing for your iPhone. You can get similar models that are Bluetooth, but I found they're a little fussy and they don't always pair up properly, etc., etc. This one just plugs into the audio port of your phone. Now, if you've got a newer phone that doesn't have an audio jack, just use the dongle that came with your headset. Plug this thing in there, and then all you have to do is aim and hold this thing and click, and you've got your photo. Really, I find it really valuable when I'm in the field and I've got a lot of photos to shoot and I don't want to stand and aim and set up. All I have to do is point my camera, make sure I'm focused properly, I've got it framed well, I can hold it over here and just hold it at my chest and bang off the photos. Really useful item. It's about, I think, $13 on Amazon. In my camera bag all the time, indispensable.
I love that. I love that idea. I've also become addicted, although it's not perfect, especially if you're using third-party apps, to using my Apple Watch as the shutter trigger. You know that, but there's something about being hardwired that you feel like you have a little more control. No question about it.
Well, you mentioned the Apple Watch. Ironically enough, we just had our first, let's call it our first serious snowfall today. So the first snowfall of the year, Wendy and I, my wife Wendy and I, we go out in the backyard and we take our annual holiday photograph. So today was holiday photo day, and that's how we took it, set it up on a tripod. I used my Apple Watch and posed ourselves and click. Works really well.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like the idea of a physical one, especially if you're trying to hit that exact moment, because with Bluetooth there always is just a little bit of a delay, and this way you click and it's done. So yeah, great. God, a lot of great picks there. I don't think I knew about the journalist package either, so got to look into that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Look for that pop-up, 15% off.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wow.
All right. Well, for my third round pick, I'm going to take another listener pick that comes from Kurt C. And I want to make sure, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pronounce this properly. His pick is the eTechCity wireless remote control electrical outlet switch for household appliances. And this is what Kurt says. I have a terrific item that would be a good addition to your annual gift guides, but it's also a super everyday item. It's a set of 5 remotely controlled switches that include 2 remotes for only $29. It's the Internet of Things without the Internet. We have 4 lamps in our living room, and I have each plugged into one of these outlets. We can turn on or off each of the lights with either remote. One remote is next to my usual chair, and the other one is near the doorway. We can easily turn off selected lamps when we watch TV and when we go to bed. It's easy to turn off all the lights when leaving the room. Bonus, the Christmas tree is plugged into the 5th outlet for the season. I spoke about this item at our Geek Gift session at our user group meeting a few weeks ago. Several members ordered their own. This is something I can't say I've used these, but I've used similar devices before the Internet of Things became big. That it's just nice to be able to add remote control to maybe a light that's not easy to get to, or an appliance that's not easy to get to. We all have become so hung up, and I admit I'm right there with it, of using Siri or the Amazon devices or the Google devices to control these things, when sometimes there's just a little simpler solution. And 5 remotely controlled outlets and 2 remotes for $29? I mean, that's almost a no-brainer to start looking at some of this stuff. So, Kurt, great pick. Thank you very much. I kind of forgot about these, that these things even existed. And it's nice to have a testimonial for one that you have experience with. So, good job. Good job. This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Smile. Smile has upgraded PDFpen for iPhone and iPad to version 3. And that's exciting news if you use your iPhone or iPad as a productivity device. With the new PDFpen 3, you can manage your documents just like in the new Files app. Drag and drop documents into place, create new folders, and share multiple documents at once using the Select command. Use Files to import, export, and organize your PDFs. And no matter where you like to store your files, Smile and PDFpen 3 have you covered, with support for iCloud Drive, Google Drive, Microsoft OneNote, and many other Files-compatible apps. And you might think it's a small thing, but it isn't. PDFpen 3 has updated highlight colors to help you make the notations you want to make the way you want to make them. Don't forget that PDFpen 3 on iPhone and iPad goes hand in hand with PDFpen 9 on the Mac, so that you can access, edit, and share your PDFs no matter where you are, no matter where they are, and no matter what device you have in hand at the moment. If you're running iOS 11, and who isn't, then you need to see what the wizards at Smile have cooked up for you in PDFpen 3. It has and deserves a place on my home screen because of its power, flexibility, and usefulness. And it should be on your home screen too, on both your iPhone and your iPad. PDFpen 3 for iPhone and iPad is available in the App Store for $19.99. Get it now and take control of all those PDF documents you have floating around, and do more with them. That's PDFpen 3 for iPhone and iPad from Smile, the makers of world-class software. Check out all their great productivity apps, including TextExpander for Mac, iPhone and iPad, and PDFpen Scan Plus for iPhone and iPad at smilesoftware.com. Thanks to Smile for being the longest-running sponsor of MacVoices. All right, guys, that's 3 rounds, so we're coming up on the 4th and final. So that means you've got to take your best pick and explain it and hope nobody steals it. At least that's what I'm hoping. David? Round 4. What's your last pick?
All right. I'm torn. I had 2 picks here for my last pick, but I guess I'm just going to give it into the easy one. Apple just released a new case for the iPhone 10. It's the folio case. It's leather. This is it. It actually has a sleeve, and I'm very impressed with the case. I actually just got it the other day. As you can see, nice, good quality leather on it, and it holds a credit card. And of course, there's a disclaimer in the box saying make sure you hold your credit card and insert it with the strip up, or otherwise the magnet that's in here is going to potentially demagnetize it. I was like, oh, that sounds very good, but it's okay. But that's what they tell you to do. I go ahead and do that. And then, of course, the other flap, you can add money or whatever you want to have with it. Very comfortable case. I mean, I've had these type of folio cases in the past, and when you fold it over, you always have a challenge of holding onto it if it's slipping onto your hand. It actually has a nice grip to it. I'm very impressed with it. It's not too terribly expensive, but it is real leather. It smells leather. It's got it comes about 4 different colors. Because I was just in the Apple store the other day, I saw it. I was like, oh, wow, this looks like a great little case. And so I splurged and got it. So I think it's $99. Very simple case, nothing much else to it. But it fits the iPhone 10, which everybody, of course, has, right? And it's a nice little case. That was simple.
Good. Yeah, the quality of the leather Apple uses always impresses me. Leather cases are not my thing, but if they were, that'd be hard-pressed to beat that.
Yeah.
So, good.
Is that the first folio type case that you've had, David?
I've had one in the past, and I didn't like it. I mean, I've always when I bought the iPhone 10, I bought just the silicone case. I've been very happy with those silicone cases. I mean, I've had Mophis.
Right.
I mean, I've used Mophis, got very bulky, especially when we had the 8 Plus, 7 Plus. Yeah, this is the first time I had this, and I'll use it for a while and see how I like it. I still have the silicone case, so that's a nice thing. If you get extra cases, you might just get bored with it and you want to switch to a different case. And obviously, with you, Wally, and being a photographer, using your iPhone all the time and doing that, you're limited on what you can do. This obviously wouldn't be practical, obviously, for putting your tripod mounts and using it for photography. But for a nice little folio, it's not bad.
One advantage of that also is that you're protecting the face of your phone.
That's the other thing, yeah, because it's in my pocket. I'm always very worried in my pocket. I forget. Oh wait, my keys are in that same pocket. I've done that before. Where you get a little scratch on the glass, and so yeah, that's one nice thing. I only worry so much about scratching the leather as I am the glass on the actual phone. So, but yeah, I agree with you. That's another nice bonus.
I haven't traditionally worried a lot about scratching the lens or the face, although this summer we went on a trip and it was an active holiday, shall we say, and I had a glass protector on my screen, which I looked at one day and it was already cracked. Yeah. So I don't know how it happened. It was in my pocket, but I must have bumped something, and bang, if I hadn't had that on, I would have had a serious accident. So something like the folio case, particularly if you're in an active environment, can be a real advantage.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. iPhone cases are such a personal thing, and sometimes they add protection, sometimes they add comfort, sometimes they add function. And I always tend to go with function, but and Wally, you obviously do too, with at least when you're using it to shoot video. But it's a very personal decision. There are a lot of great choices out there, but yeah, the Apple leathers always just appeal.
Mm.
Yep.
Corinthian leather.
That's right.
I think you missed the accent, Wally, but anyway.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Yeah. What do you have for the last round?
My last round. Well, I talked about carrying photo gear around and video gear around. And believe me, over the years, I have tried out so many cases and bags and different ways of toting stuff around. Scotty vests, Tilly vests, cargo pants, just, stuff to carry all the gear that you have to carry. Well, I finally came across something that seems to work really well for me, and I'll share it with you. There it is. You can see that. This is called a Tour lumbar pack from a company called Mountainsmith. So what's the big deal? It's just a pack, isn't it? What's so special? Well, normally, if you've got a backpack, you, of course, wear it on your back. And if you're carrying a camera or a video camera or even your phone and you want to get it out, well, usually you have to remove the pack from your back, and then you have to unzip something, reach in. Your camera's probably fallen to the bottom of the bag, so you're rummaging around, you pull it out finally, you take your shot, and guess what? You have to pack it up again and put it on your back again, which is really inconvenient. The nice thing about this, it's sort of like an overgrown fanny pack. Remember fanny packs when they had their day? Well, this one, you can wear it in different ways, but when you put it behind you, it actually isn't on your shoulders, it's in the small of your back. And the other nice thing is you can wear it on the side. So it has a strap that goes over your shoulder, so you have it on the side. And you can even pull it around to the front. So all of your gear is right in front of you. It's like a kangaroo pouch almost. So if you want to stop and take a shot, it's already there in front of you. And it's unzipped. And all you have to do is reach down and pull out your camera or your phone. Very, very convenient. Now, inside, it's hard to show everything in there. Several zip compartments. There's a padded compartment here where you can actually put an iPad, including an iPad Pro size if you really want to bring your iPad Pro along. Zippered compartments in the front, in the side. The straps also have zips. The end pockets, room for a water bottle. In fact, 2 water bottles. Lots of cargo capacity in this thing. I've put so much stuff in here. A camera, a couple of iPhones, a video camera, spare jacket, sunglasses, on and on and on. Just a great piece of kit. It's around $70 on Amazon. Comes in a lot of different colors. And it's really the best versatile pack that I've found for carrying a lot of gear around, whether you're going downtown for the day or whether you're going on a 20-mile hike. This is the kind of thing that you should have along with you to carry your goods. There's one accessory you can get for it, in fact. These are called strapettes. They're about $25, and what you do with that is you attach it to the back of the lumbar pack, and it turns into a traditional backpack if you really want it that way. So if you don't have to get your camera gear out frequently and you really want to tote stuff on your back, you can. Very versatile. This is, I think, the seaweed color or something like that, but a lot of different colors. Just the best pack I found for toting your stuff.
Coming from you, that's quite a recommendation, because I know over the years I've seen you equip yourself with various things, and obviously, they haven't measured up because you change the next time I see you. So
well, they're good, but unfortunately, I have a graveyard of old backpacks.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one of us don't? Good pick. Very practical.
Thanks.
All right, so for my last pick, I'm going back to my pick. And I have to say, this is the 5th gift guide jury. So we've had lots of panelists. We have had lots of rounds. Nobody has picked this. And it makes me a little crazy because this would seem to be one of the #1 holiday gifts this season. And that's an iPhone X.
Oh.
For all the reasons that we've talked about here, I'm really surprised that no one has picked it. Yes, it's definitely an expensive one, but the Animoji thing, it was really interesting to watch the Animoji thing, build and then completely fade away. It's fun to play with, but at the moment there's no practical use. The AR stuff is becoming more and more interesting, but I don't think it's really there yet. But the cameras in this phone are phenomenal. Mm. The speed of this phone is phenomenal. The loss of the home button, it took me probably 2 or 3 hours. And, then there was a little bit of residual, like, okay, my thumb is going down looking for it. It's not there. Inside of a day and a half, I almost forgot how I would use a home button. In fact, someone gave me a home button iPhone 6s Plus over the weekend. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I've got to get on and hit this thing. So the learning curve is nothing. The Face ID has worked flawlessly for me. I know everybody I tried with, it won't open for them. Turn it to my face, and it opens right up. In fact, and I've said this before on the show, I have trouble making it not unlock my phone. I have to turn it almost a full 45 degrees away from me before to keep it from locking. I can, roll over in bed and it unlocks. I can raise it, at arm's length and it unlocks. I can look at it on my car mount in my phone, and look at it, just glance over, and it unlocks. So that has not been an issue. All those things that people said, well, I'm concerned about this or I'm worried about that, forget it. Just not going to happen.
Yep.
I want to go back to the iPhone 6s Plus that I had my hands on because I was shocked at how slow that feels compared to this 10. Nothing wrong with it, and it still functioned just fine, but I did not really realize how conditioned I've become already to the speed of this thing. And when I got my hands back on mine, it's like, oh yeah, this is the way it should be. Now, I'm sure that when the iPhone 20 comes out, it'll be faster yet. But right now, this is an experience that, is the top of the line experience. Oh yeah, the notch. I want to make sure I touched on the notch. Right. Don't worry about the notch. I think that's one of those tempests in a teacup that, it didn't conform to somebody's idea. I can't say that. In fact, a friend tweeted me the other day and said, does the notch bother you? It's like, gee, I hadn't even thought about it after about the second day. because it's almost a non-experience.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the notch. I will give you the buying advice, and yes, it's expensive. Buy more storage, especially if you plan to do any kind of significant photos or video shooting, because this is one of those 4K cameras in there, and it generates rather large files, gorgeous files. And this will fit in real well with everything Wally just told you about. Get the external lens kits if you're really into that. Make photo books out of the photos you shoot, but it is phenomenal. Last point with this. I know people balk and say, yeah, but I'm not sure I want to spend that much money on a phone. This is not a phone, folks. This is a small pocket computer. All right. It does so much more than a phone. If you want a phone, go get a $29.95 burner at Kmart. But if you want all the capabilities that the iPhone gives you, then pay the money. And I have yet to find anybody who said, I could have probably done it with the 8. That'd have been fine. Or I'm really sorry I got the iPhone 10. Nobody says that. And I haven't heard about anyone trading them in once they get their hands on them. So I'm going to tell you right now, go for the iPhone 10 now or whenever your contract's up. You will not regret it. And if you have the opportunity, go with the iPhone upgrade program so that you can get the upgrades each time. The upgrade process this time was flawless for me, and it was so easy, and I was able to get the iPhone early. Of course, I lost a little sleep doing it, but I still got it. So I can't recommend this phone highly enough, because any hesitancy I had was gone within 2 or 3 days, and I've never looked back. So, David, I know you have a 10. Wally, do you have a 10 as well?
No, I don't.
Okay. Go get a 10.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Yeah. In fact,
Did you get up at 3 a.m. to order your phone, Chuck?
2:55. Yeah.
2:55. And
Yeah.
David, you must have been at what, 1 o'clock?
No, I was in Vegas and found it at the store on that week.
Well, there we go. Well, I just saw a piece, I think today or yesterday. It says the shipping time, at least in Canada now, is 1 to 2 days.
Yeah, it's
So, not long ago, it was weeks that you had to wait, and, we'll never get one before Christmas. Well, guess what? You can almost pick one up anytime you want now.
Yeah.
So the availability is there. So, yeah, absolutely. Now, I noticed one other thing that was a little different in setting up the new phone. Wendy got an iPhone 10. So I set it up for her, and when you migrate your previous phone, it doesn't migrate the apps. All of your apps have to re-download from the App Store,
right.
Which is different from in the past when you could sync with your, I think, with your Mac, and they would all come over. But since the changes in iTunes, they now have to come from the cloud.
They still sync, but you're right. They have to download. So your backup already knows what apps were on your phone.
Yes.
It's just, unfortunately, you have to download them.
It's an extra step, and it takes a while, but hey, it worked flawlessly. And the other interesting thing is, in that process, it identified apps that were either 32-bit or wouldn't work properly anymore, and it just said, "Sorry, they're gone. You don't even want these anymore." So it kind of culled them automatically as you were setting it up.
Yeah. It's just, there's so many little touches that Apple has done right. And I know we've just gone through, as we record this, I guess, last week as we record this, there have been some security issues and questions, and everybody's making such a big deal out of it. And, okay, if this becomes a trend, if you see this happen over a period of weeks or months, then worry about it. A couple little hiccups, stop listening to the naysayers. David, I want to make sure that I ask you about this, because as I recall, you bought an iPhone 8 and then upgraded to the 10.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
David just wanted to have one of each phone.
I didn't. I was, I posted this in the MacVoices group and said, I'm sold on the 8. And I gave in. And like I said, what motivated me is I thought, the phone's not going to be available. And I happened to be in Vegas the weekend that it went on sale. And sure enough, the store in Summerlin had it in stock. And I decided, okay, I think I'm going to do it. So, yes, I learned my lesson. I am not going to do that ever again. had to sell the 8 and 8 Plus, and for a little bit of a loss, but I've learned my lesson on that. No, and I can't agree with you more with the iPhone upgrade program. It's absolutely amazing, because I was able to get this phone and start over with another loan right off the bat when I bought this, and then I paid off the one on the 8 and I was done with that. So, I mean, I had a little bit of a stumble with that program with the local Apple Store. Kind of made a mistake and didn't trade it in properly. So, but I think that's few and far between. That program is amazing. I can't agree more. I don't like dealing with the carriers anymore. I'd rather just buy it directly through Apple.
Unlock, yeah.
Yep.
David, I've got to ask you. I'll pretend I didn't hear anything about that iPhone 8 stuff, but your previous phone, did you have a 7 Plus or a 7?
I had the 7 Plus. I've stayed in the Plus size since.
And Chuck, I know that your previous phone was a Plus also.
It was.
Yes. So my question to both of you is, was there an adjustment going from a Plus size screen to the iPhone 10 screen size?
Well,
David, you first.
Yeah, let me. I don't think the screen is any different, because the screen is bigger, actually. Because when I had the 8 and I was able to put them next to each other, I looked at it and I said, "Wow, this screen is bigger. It's amazing." But I'm telling you, I love the fact that this is a smaller phone, physically smaller. So it doesn't bother me at all. And people ask me about that, because there's a lot of people who don't like the larger size phone, and some do. It really depends. But when it's borderless, you don't have the borders anymore. It makes a huge difference. And I agree with you too, Chuck, with the fact that this phone is so much faster. I mean, I definitely could see a difference. Even you compare it against the 8 Plus. I mean, you do notice a little bit of difference in the speed. But no, I don't have any issues with the size at all. I'm very happy with it.
And David's point is well taken. It's taller. Okay, it's not quite as wide for sort of obvious reasons, because the physical phone for the screen is not as wide, but it makes up for it, I think, with the idea that essentially the whole front of the phone is a screen. And we're back to that notch thing. And again, just forget the notch. Don't worry about it. You aren't going to notice it 3 times in the next 3 years if you have the phone that long.
So neither one of you missed a beat with the difference in size.
No.
Yeah.
Because again, it feels just as big, if not bigger. That's the straight. It's almost hard to explain until you get them in your hand side by side, and you turn them landscape, you turn them portrait, and say, okay, this is a very strange experience. I loved my iPhone 7 Plus because of the larger screen. But that does not necessarily translate into me loving the larger phone. And by eliminating the home button, now I've got the smaller form factor back, but I really haven't lost anything significant in screen.
Right.
So, yeah. And now it feels better in my pocket.
The display is absolutely spectacular, though.
Yeah.
The OLED display is just great.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Wally, thank you, because it's been something I wanted to talk about, and I'll just tell this right quick. I use my iPhone as on a nightstand beside my bed, and I usually use an app called Alarm Clock, which not the best app name in the world, to have a digital clock up. You can turn the black level the whole way down and then set the brightness of the letters. When I took the iPhone 7 Plus and turned the black level the whole way down, what you end up with once your eyes adjust to it in the middle of the night is you've got just a light gray light shining out and sort of illuminating the room. When you take this OLED screen and you take it the black the whole way down, it's black. And the only thing you have is the LEDs illuminating the room. I mean, there is nothing else coming off that screen.
Exactly.
And it is, I mean, that I didn't really think about it. At first, it's like, okay, why am I having trouble seeing things at night? Well, it's because my bedroom is totally dark now, except for those LEDs. There's none of that little gray nightlight effect. So yeah, the screen is truly amazing.
Now, you talked about the darkness in your bedroom, you talked about Face ID. Oh my God, the thing unlocks when it's in dark. I mean, I bring it up because it's bright, because it's adjusting to the light, because it has the auto adjust to the light that's in the room. it unlocks. It sees your face. So, I mean, it's just amazing. It really is.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, if you view a video that you shot and used to watch on your previous iPhone, and now you look at it on the iPhone 10, as you said with your alarm clock, Chuck, all of a sudden the blacks are black and the colors are vivid. And it's almost like you're watching your video for the first time. It's a different video entirely on that screen.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yep.
It absolutely is. And the few videos I've shared some on Facebook of different things I've been to, the videos that come out of this are just absolutely gorgeous. No matter, I mean, even sharing them to Facebook and having it do whatever compression it does, they still come out looking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's it. And I felt, I was kind of trying to let another panelist pick it, but now we're down to number 5 at the bottom round, and nobody's touched it. They've danced around it, but nobody touched it. So now it's picked.
Great choice.
Yeah. Guys, thank you. That's you did it to me again. I'm spending more money because of this panel. Thank you very much. David, tell everyone where they can find you when you're not here on MacVoices talking about how to spend my money.
Well, you can find me. I've been doing a podcast with Melissa Davis, In Touch with iOS. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. Go to iOS.com to hear our podcast, and we talk even more in depth about iOS and iCloud and all kinds of iPhone devices and whatever the topic strikes our fancy. I'm also, as you are, I'm on iChart Radio and do that every 6 weeks with Michael LaPlante, and I'm having a blast doing that with him. And of course, I'm still president of the Suburban Chicago Apple Users, and we still have our Apple User Group going strong. We're going to have you as a guest next year in a couple months. I can't wait to see that. And that's where everybody can find me. And you also can find me on Twitter at DaveG65.
Great. Dave, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for the time, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you. Thanks for having me.
Wally, what are your claims to fame these days?
I don't know how famous I am. I'm one of those rare people, Chuck, who does not have a podcast. I don't know how I get along these days, but you can find me every month in Don McAllister's Screencast Online monthly magazine. I write a video column, and it's a lot of fun. I know you appear in there, Chuck. Allison Sheridan does, Katie Floyd does, and Frank Petrie does. Mike Schmitz, a lot of good folks, and it's really good reading material. I enjoy doing that, enjoy working with Don. I've also got a YouTube channel where some of our old videos that we've collaborated on in the past are from Macworld and Macstock, and a few other new ones going up pretty soon. So, always keeping busy.
No doubt in my mind. Thank you for being here as well, and happy holidays to both you and Wendy.
Pleasure talking with you both.
Guys, we'll see you again soon. Maybe not talking gifts next time. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but there's always something interesting.
Well, Macstock is almost here. It's July, pretty soon.
Yeah, don't say that, Wally. I've got a lot of stuff to do between now and then.
Well, you've got CES.
CES, NAB, yeah.
NAB also.
Busy times.
And David, do you have any trips planned?
Trips, probably some work. I got some trip work related stuff that I'll be doing probably in January working with Jamf. So I'd be might be a little busy with that. But beyond that, nothing crazy. I'll be going to Vegas actually the week before CES. So I'll tell you.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. This is gift guide number 5. I hope that we've been able to help you do some early shopping. We're starting to get down to the wire here, but we hope to get at least one more panel in because there's still more great gifts. I've still got a few other ideas. I know some other listeners have said they've promised to send me in ideas. If you have ideas for things that you'd like to see in our gift guide shows, drop me an email, chuck@macvoices.com. You can post something in the MacVoices Facebook group or use the contact page on the MacVoices site. You can find me on Twitter as well as @ChuckJoyner or @MacVoices. Let me hear from you and let me know what you're picking, what you're giving, or what you would like to give or get this holiday season. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group and get more out of your Apple Tech with MacVoices magazine free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.